It's where you go to bike, hike, and stroll miles of pathways over more than 7,000 acres of parkland. A place to go explore rivers and fish their bountiful waters. Natural places to go marvel at magnificent wildlife while you play outdoors and go wander charming communities. Find all this and more at Destination Downriver. Give it a go.
Hello everyone, my name is Ron Hinrichs and I'm your host of the Destination Downriver podcast. And I want to welcome you to another exciting edition as we are going to be discussing Downriver Festivals and Events and why they matter more than ever in our post-pandemic world. Today's podcast is presented by our great friends at Allegra, not added an E in there, it should be Allegra, so print marketing, and located in Wyandotte on 4th Street. We're so grateful for their ongoing support. Also want to say a special thank you to our presenting sponsor, Market Insights. And in our vodcast, the video portion of today's program is produced with the help from the City of Taylor's beautiful state-of-the-art media center. So thank you to our great friends at the Taylor Media Center, and of course, Kathy Kane at Market Insights. Again, we are sponsored by the generous support of our friends at Allegra Marketing, Print, and Design in Wyandotte. For strategic marketing and print communication with measurable results, let Allegra assist you with your print, mail, design, and signs. They're located at 3557 4th Street in the gorgeous city of Wyandotte, and you can contact them at 734-288-8994 and ask for our good friend Craig Kowalski and tell them that Destination Downriver and of course the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber brought you there. So let's go ahead and jump into today's program because it's an action-packed program and we have a lot to talk about with all of the great festivals and events happening throughout the Downriver region. Pre-pandemic, Downriver was a region that hosted nearly 40 different annual festivals and events. There are currently 270 festivals all happening around our state for this year listed on the Pure Michigan website. And I have a lot of great friends around the state who are playing a big role in that. And I know that there's just so much happening with these 270 festivals around the state this year, and we're excited to see them finally coming back. What seemed like a relic from the past amid COVID-19 lockdowns and social distancing precautions now appears to be back in full force. This season is shaping up to be a festival resurgence with events taking place throughout Downriver, and there's no question we've got some great ones. We're going to be talking about some of those today. From the iconic Wyandotte Street Fair, which happens to be Michigan's second largest, the Trenton, Riverview, and Taylor Summer Festivals, Flat Rock's Riverfest, to Brownstown's unique Vintage Market, and of course the Lincoln Park Days, the River Rouge Days, Southgate Heritage Days, and one of my favorites, the Huron Township Apple Festival. Our region is unrivaled when it comes to a fun-filled and entertaining venue for all ages. There's just so many great events to cover. Economic analysis helps us understand that cultural activities and festivals lead to job generation and visitor development. Events have proven to be a great way to stimulate local economies, and that's something, as you can tell, is very near and dear to our heart at the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, and of course my guests today as well. Events bring a cash injection from out-of-town visitors, raising a profile of an area and local businesses, or simply bringing communities closer together, which is also extremely important. By definition, festivals attract visitors, and visitors spend money, which boosts the local economy both on and off the festival stage. Festivals are great for providing pass-along marketing for local businesses as visitors talk about their fun experiences when they return home. And as you know, social media plays a huge role in the impact of festivals and the way people communicate these days. In the Downriver region, festivals matter even more than ever as individuals, communities, and businesses work to get back a sense of post-pandemic normalcy, if there is such a thing. Events appeal to people across generations, social, economic backgrounds, and cultural taste. We are social beings by nature, and we need opportunities for collective celebration. Festivals and major cultural events offer us that platform. Our guest panel for today's discussion are all professionally and personally involved in some of Downriver's most impactful festivals and events. And I'm so thrilled to take this moment to introduce today's panelists, and I'm going to begin with my friend and the longtime mayor of the city of Woodhaven, Mayor Pat Odette. Mayor, it's great to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. And let me introduce Mayor Odette for a moment. Dr. Odette serves as a city council, or has served as a city council member for 8 years with Woodhaven before being elected mayor, and has served as mayor for the last 13 years. Dr. Odette holds 2 bachelor's degrees as well as a doctorate degree from the National College of Chiropractic. She's now retired. She is a small business owner of Odette and Corn Chiropractic, which is a member of the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, I might add, and has been chosen by the governor to sit on the Chiropractic Professions Board in the state of Michigan. Her motto is simple: people first.
True.
Is that true?
That is true.
Yeah, I would agree. People first. Our next guest, also a great friend of the chamber and a friend of mine, Erin Dobbins, member of the chamber and a great partner, serves as the executive director of the Taylor Conservatory and Botanical Gardens in the city of Taylor. So it's great to have you, Erin. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now, you are your main focus, from what I understand, is serving or running the music and music and art program in the Gardens concert series. I hope I have that correctly.
Right. That is what brought me to the conservatory. We are now in our 11th year.
That's great.
But I started the program with Mary Boonenberg, who's a local musician, and we've been running this now. We're starting 11 years. Music and Art in the Gardens is the name of our program.
And you have 20 years of event management experience, and you were a 35-year resident of the city of Taylor?
That's right.
Good for you. And so we're glad to have you on the panel this whenever this evening or morning, whenever this is airing. It's great to have you, Erin.
Thank you.
Our next guest, who will be joining us via chat or via Zoom in a couple of moments, is the president, Joe Nieporte, who is the president of Fun Fest Incorporated, another member of the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber. And he's the festival manager of the Uncle Sam Jam in the city of Woodhaven. He has booked acts and organized events for everything from major political fundraisers to managing events for national brands like Sports Illustrated, Quicken Loans, Chevrolet, and Outback Restaurants. His firm has also been involved in major regional events like Arts, Beats, and Eats, the Downtown Hoedown, Motown's Winter Blast, and the Detroit Grand Prix. So quite a stellar lineup of guests on our panel today, and definitely a lot of experience and expertise when it comes to running and managing impactful community events throughout the Downriver region. So we're excited to have you. And we're going to jump into some questions here as we talk about the impact of events on our region, the Downriver region, and the community. And I'm going to begin with you, Mayor Odette. As a city leader, can you share with us why events and festivals are so important to our communities?
I think it gives the people who live, first and foremost, what matters the most to me is that my residents enjoy it. It gives them a chance to be with each other, bring their families to an event. They bring people from out of the city, their families, they barbecue, they go to the event, they watch the fireworks. It's phenomenal to watch the interaction among the residents.
It is, and when you think of your specific festival, Uncle Sam Jam, that truly brings people together, not just from Woodhaven, but the entire Downriver region.
Well, it actually brings people from all over the United States. I mean, it's an event that has 50,000 people who attend it over the 4-day period.
Oh my gosh, 50,000.
So, of course, the economics to the restaurants, just the stores, the bars, gas stations. I mean, small businesses. They run events at their own restaurants that night or several nights. They'll have cornhole tournaments. So So the economics of that is a huge impact to the city of Woodhaven and to our small businesses.
It truly is, and I know Woodhaven is very passionate about serving and developing an environment that's pro small business. And I think this Uncle Sam Jam and a lot of other community events that take place in the area really play a big role into developing that strong pro small business environment, correct?
It does, and the small businesses look forward to the event, and the large businesses look forward to the event. I mean, the residents look forward to the event. It has a really good feeling about it.
What are some of the ways that small businesses and nonprofit organizations can participate in Uncle Sam Jam?
Well, small businesses, I believe, can get a tent to advertise their businesses. They can buy a tent or rent a tent, I should say, from FunFest Productions.
Okay, yeah.
Just going into the crowds and talking to everybody. I mean, you see that happen a lot.
Yeah.
They can sponsor the fireworks where their names and logos are up on billboards. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways for small businesses to get involved.
There are, and when a small business participates in their community, it really has not just an impact on their local business, but they're investing into the future of their community. And I got to tell you, our Downriver small businesses are so proud when they sponsor, fireworks or an activity, an event. And I can tell you, so many times I'll be driving down the road and I'll see a small business that has a banner out in front of their business as proud sponsor of the Riverview fireworks or the Woodhaven fireworks, and we have some dynamic small business owners in the region.
We do. We definitely do.
Definitely do. Erin, question for you. Concerts and live music have been something we've all missed while the COVID shadow was hanging over all of us. Thank God it's starting to move away, fingers crossed. But do you anticipate greater demand and bigger crowds for the Taylor concert series this season at the Botanical Gardens?
Well, we're certainly hoping for that to be the case. We do have 8 acres of outdoor space, and we were unique during the pandemic in that we were able to continue hosting the outdoor shows with a plethora of safety equipment, signs, directional signage. People were masked still, and everybody had sanitizers, and we just approached things differently. It was really a strong learning curve for us, but we worked with some health professionals who helped guide us and worked very closely with the state of Michigan too to make sure that we were within their guidelines. So we maintained a concert series throughout the pandemic, but we experienced a lot of newer people who came. So it brought new people where some of our, we have a population of people who sometimes you might consider are health compromised. So they had to stay back. They couldn't enjoy the concert. So we're looking forward to seeing them. We kicked off our concert series last week, so we saw some of the old familiar faces, which was really nice.
That's good.
Even though we got rained out, but we were under the Sheridan Pavilion. We have a great rain out location. So
good for you.
So I anticipate the blend of the returning people plus the new that discovered us during the pandemic. Excuse me.
I don't know how many people realize, I'm sure they do, but when we think about the initial onset of the stay-at-home order and when the COVID started having a serious impact on our region and on our nation, the entrepreneurial spirit was alive and well in the events industry. They were so creative in finding new ways to put on and host events, whether they're virtual on Zoom or they were on Facebook Live. And the live event industry was, we think so often about how our retail shops and our restaurants are impacted, but the live event industry was probably the most impacted industry out of all of them, because even at the point where we were able to reopen restaurants at 50% capacity, event venues were still not able to operate like they had in the past, and it was truly detrimental. And I had a lot of conversations throughout those times with people like Julie Law from Events 360, and we're going to be talking with Joe Nieporte in a little bit. But they were so creative in finding new ways to host events and help make people feel safe when they attend the events. So it's exciting to hear how you were able to do that at the Taylor Botanical Gardens, and kudos to you and your team.
Thank you.
The resilience of concerts in the park have become a staple for many small communities in our state. So how do you go about differentiating those in Taylor from so many others that are around for folks to enjoy?
Well, we're a very unique venue in that we're a botanical garden. So Uncle Sam Jam and our City of Taylor Festival, they're held in, it's a very fun atmosphere, but it's more concrete, right? And it's what you're used to going to if you were at Pine Knob or one of the big venues.
Sure.
But we're a smaller venue with a beautiful, beautiful backdrop. And we have what we refer to as a natural parabolic sound wall that's created by our terrace area and the arborvitae around there. So it's really a unique listening experience. We're great for jazz and acoustical types of sets. In addition to like rock and roll, we can jam it. And I know people from across the park say they can hear us at the Little League field. And so I think just the setting of our space makes us unique.
That's great. I think it was last summer I heard Pearl Handle Necktie Band there at the Botanical Gardens. And if you haven't heard Pearl Handle Necktie Band, we had them at our Black Tie event this year with the Chamber. They are a blast to listen to. So much fun. Levi Johnson and his crew. But it was, you're right. I mean, it was a remarkable venue. And the acoustics, I mean, it's not like your traditional concert venue, but it sounded great.
Right. It's a very even sound. We can sit on the terrace. We have lots of people who like to dance on the terrace right in front of the speakers, and they're able to do that. And the sound is of same quality all the way in the back.
And we love Pine Knob, but there's nothing better than enjoying the beautiful landscapes of the Taylor Botanical Gardens and listening to a concert as well on a great downriver summer evening. So it's so much fun. What are some of the bands that you have lined up in your schedule this year?
Well, we opened up with LL7. That's a Latin jazz band.
LL7.
LL7, spicy band. And then tomorrow we have Wisteria, who is also regular at the Uncle Sam Jam. And then we have Looking Back, which is a Bob Seger tribute band coming up.
I've heard of them.
And then To Infinity and Beyond, that's, or just Infinity and Beyond, that's the Journey tribute band. Major Tomato, the restaurant in Allen Park, some of the members from that restaurant have a band called Major Dudes.
Seriously?
And they're fantastic, so go support their pizza and then come over and listen to their music. They're our finale. So tomorrow we're hoping still for a car show. We're dedicating, this will be airing after tomorrow, right? So I can say this, we're dedicating a special statue to Big Ray Haywood. We always traditionally opened with Big Ray. But he since has passed away. So the family's coming down from up north, and we're going to dedicate a statue in his honor in the garden. So we have a really nice mix of bands. We have Ashley, Lynn, and the Spurs. They're from Canada. They were scheduled to come 2 years ago, but couldn't, of course, because of the border closing. So she's super energetic. She played a few years back, and she's really fantastic. So
that's great.
Good mix of shows.
So we won't spill the beans on social media today in terms of
Well, it's tomorrow. You can. It's fine.
So everybody, you just heard in on the secret, even though it's a little bit too late, because this is airing after the ceremony takes place. So sorry for you.
But you can come by the gardens and see the statue anytime.
Yes, you can. Well, so that leads to my next question. How often do the concerts take place? How do I learn more information about it?
On our website, which is taylorconservatory.org, and we also have our Facebook page, Taylor Conservatory, so we have the events posted in both places. But the concert series begins, it started last week and it runs through August 10th. And every Wednesday, the doors open at 5:30 with an art display. We have fine arts. This week, our classic cars serve as our fine arts, and that's one of our missions at the conservatory, is to connect people in the community with art and culture. So we have local artists featured each week. And the food and beverages, we have a full bar by Bottoms Up Downriver. They are
another chamber member.
That's right. So a great group of people that run that organization. So the doors are at 5:30 and the music plays from 6:30 to 8:30.
That's great. And I love to hear that you're incorporating the local artists and the talent we have in our region, because we have some phenomenal local artists downriver, from photography to, of course, painting and drawing and music and musicians. I mean, there truly is. And that's one thing that I talk to our partners at Under the Radar Michigan about all the time. Is the amazing talent we have, and that's being showcased at the Taylor Botanical Gardens and the and the concert series.
Right. It has become a tradition over the last 5 years that we worked with Trillium Academy in Taylor. Their art class, the students bring artwork and show their families come out too. So it's a really nice opportunity for them. And their instructor, Kelly Potter, shared with us last week that they've adopted our show as their art show for the school because they can get so many outsiders in to see the student art. It's just a great opportunity for them.
Yeah, good for you, Erin. You guys are doing some great work. And speaking of having an impact on our community, I turn back over to Mayor Odette. And this is something that you and I recently talked about before we went on air here. Festivals definitely generate economic activity. We mentioned that in the opening. What sort of impact do you believe that the Uncle Jam has on the not just Woodhaven but throughout the region?
Well, I think it brings a lot of people throughout who would normally not come downriver, but they come downriver to see, the opening band is Grand Funk Railroad. So that will draw people from all over the state of Michigan.
Yeah, and those are visitors to the region that may not, have visited Revved Up Fun in Woodhaven or some of our other small local businesses.
Correct. So that's, we have a huge fireworks Friday night that comes on, and then Grand Funk Railroad comes after them. So a lot of people will come. I've seen 20,000 people just in that night alone.
Yeah. And you had mentioned to me that you had surveyed some Woodhaven residents. Could you talk about that?
We did, because Woodhaven is really all about their residents. So we took a survey, online survey. We surveyed 1,168 people, our residents only, and 68% of them asked to have the Sam Jam back. So
68%. That's
that was
phenomenal.
an incredible amount.
Yes.
And so the people want it, and it's coming back.
People want it, and it's coming back. Yeah.
And I think it'll be bigger than ever this year because we haven't had it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful atmosphere. It's outside. It's professionally done. The stage is beautiful. There's a hill in Woodhaven. I don't know if you've ever been to our park, which lines up with people watching the concert.
It's one of my favorite parks.
Is it?
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
beautifully.
Right on Odette Parkway.
It is on Odette Parkway. You're right. I mean, it's a phenomenal park. It's 10 acres outdoors for people to enjoy. There's a Wade production does the carnival. Wade Carnival comes in, and they have the top of the line carnival, water rides. What I like about the event, which attracted me to it, was that it also has local bands. Fun Fest brings in local bands for 3 days, before they bring on the big name act. I know Wisteria is also at the event, and you'll have to ask Mr. Nieporte the exact who the lineup is, because my age, I'm not really looking at that. I do remember Grand Funk because they were from my time, so of course that rings a bell to me.
Oh, sure, yeah. Thinking in terms of being the mayor, and obviously you see firsthand how an event like Uncle Sam Jam impacts your constituents and your businesses. How does the city get that word correctly? How does the city leadership evaluate what type of events you bring to a city, and what's the criteria for bringing events and festivals to a community like Uncle Sam Jam?
We want it family orientated, number one. Number two, we're looking at the safety of the event.
Okay.
And between the city, the collaboration between the city and Fun Fest Productions, the whole event is basically fenced in. So people can't just come in and out, and there's only one entrance in and one entrance out. Okay. So safety's huge with us.
Yeah, and the park you mentioned provides a perfect venue.
It does.
For
it's
that.
10 acres of open land, and we're looking at the family value there as well as the safety, and I can say over 13 years, I mean, we've had no big traumas or fighting or. It's been a very safe event, and that's what we will continue to look at.
The other great thing too about the park and Uncle Sam Jam, it's truly in a perfect location. It's so easy to get to, right off I-75 and West Road, right in that area by City Hall.
We also provide parking off premises where we bus people in. I think last year it was at Kohl's. There's several locations where the bus will pick you up throughout the night and drop you off.
So you have partnerships with local businesses and organizations.
We do, which is nice too, because guess what? Then they go shopping in there. They park their car there. Oh, I didn't know this was here. and they're waiting outside for their bus, and the bus takes them back and forth. So it really works out for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Can you give us a brief overview, perhaps, of maybe some of the other events that will be taking place in Woodhaven throughout the year?
So we don't have anything else to that extent.
To that extent,
that's a huge event for the city. With
sure it is.
Personnel.
Probably takes all year long to plan, I would
It
imagine.
takes a long time to plan. And again,
Yep.
we have a really good partnership with FunFest. And so we have movies in the park for our residents, and all throughout the year we'll do 501(c)(3)s. Like yesterday, I believe it was the Lincoln Park Autism Children, where we give events for that. But we've done campouts in the park, movies in the park. We try to cater to our residents.
Yeah, that's one thing that's always impressed me about the city of Woodhaven is how active the Parks and Recreation Department is, and
Extremely.
And the senior center, and
That's huge. We give events to them also, and we send them on trips, lunch bunches.
Yep.
They go to Mackinac. Yeah, that's really important also. I mean, Woodhaven has a lot for the children as well as the seniors.
It does, and every time I drive by City Hall, which is several times a week, you have the electronic marquee sign out there, and it lists out all the upcoming events, and
does.
there's so much happening in Woodhaven. I mean, it's truly an active community if you've ever seen
I
one.
always say it's just booming.
It's booming.
Right, it
Yep.
is.
So how can we learn more about the different events like Uncle Sam Jam and then other community type events that are taking place in Woodhaven?
The city has a website, and you can go to their website, City of Woodhaven government page, or the rec department has their own website.
Probably Facebook page as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. We have a very active Facebook page.
Yep, I've seen that. And so if I remember correctly, you can definitely look up City of Woodhaven on Facebook. And as you mentioned, it's a very great resource to find out what's going on in the
We
city.
keep it up on a daily basis.
Yep.
So it's a great way to find out what's happening when, and yes, we try to have a great interaction with people.
Mayor Odette, so one thing that we always look into is the economic impact, but thinking on from the aspect of the city, what's the economic cost to put on a major event like Uncle Sam Jam?
That's a great question, and it actually doesn't cost the city anything.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what makes the event even better. So FunFest production takes on any cost that we obtain in our overtime, our police, our fire. They absorb those costs, and then the whole event is at the cost of FunFest production.
That's outstanding. So you're talking about an event that has a huge economic impact on our small businesses, our nonprofits, and it doesn't cost the taxpayer a dime.
It does not.
Wow. That makes it even that much better.
It makes it wonderful. Because I know a lot of the events that cities, and I've seen it in the past, not while I've been the mayor, but I looked at past events, and they were actually costing the city money. So I said, what can we do to put on a phenomenal event and not cost us very much? And then I didn't realize, after meeting with Mr. Nieporte, that it wouldn't cost us anything.
Very
and
good.
we're very appreciative.
That's great. And we're going to talk here now with Joe Nieporte. So we're here with Joe Nieporte, who is the president of FunFest Entertainment. Do I have that correct, Joe?
Actually, FunFest Events.
FunFest Events. Great. And Joe, I know you're working on some great things over in Marysville, but you are in charge of really putting together the Uncle Sam Jam in the city of Woodhaven, correct?
Yes, that is one of our biggest events, and we've been doing it for 13 years now.
Awesome. So Joe, the need to gather and experience collective cultural joy at events or festivals feels like it's definitely needed now, considering we're coming out of the COVID era. Social scientists believe festivals and events like those that you manage, including the Uncle Sam Jam in Woodhaven, can help lead to overall happiness, well-being, belonging, or creative inspiration for a huge segment of the population. As professionals, what are your thoughts on these social benefits and how they impact the community?
Well, I agree with that 100%. Unfortunately, a lot of people have been on lockdown for almost 2 years, and a lot of stuff that they enjoyed on a regular basis was taken away.
Right.
We were pretty much shut down the last 2 years. We didn't do any festivals, and we did a couple one-off events last year, but it was nothing. So the response we're getting from people now, knowing that we're bringing some of these events back, especially Uncle Sam Jam, has been tremendously positive. People are extremely looking forward to it, and we
Right.
anticipate, really, really good crowds because of it.
Yeah, we earlier in the podcast, we were talking to Mayor Pat Odette and talking about the economic benefit and the impact that large festivals and community events like Uncle Sam Jam have on the region. And it's been absolutely devastating the past 2 years that we haven't had festivals like this that bring people together and encourage people to support local businesses and nonprofit organizations in our entire community. So we're so excited that events are finally coming back, and we continue to urge residents and businesses to partake in these festivals and be a part of what's going on throughout the Downriver community and frankly throughout the entire state of Michigan and our nation. But can you give our audience that's listening today a brief overview of what you expect will take place and what they might want to consider attending at this year's Uncle Sam Jam?
Well, it's been very successful, so we haven't really changed much. We always look to improve it every year, and what we really got going for us is we have a first-class carnival midway, over 30 rides, and roller coaster is one of them, which you don't see at too many carnival. So
right.
that's always a big attraction. And in our music, of course, we have 4 nights of live music.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, we've only done 3. So we went to 4 this time.
Oh, that's great.
And we have monster truck rides, and we have a petting zoo. And there's something for everyone, from toddlers to grandparents. We have something for everyone to enjoy. And my favorite thing always has been just sitting back and watching everybody walk around with smiles on their faces and having fun. And I'm anticipating that's going to be greater than ever this year.
Yeah, it definitely is, Joe. And you mentioned monster truck rides. I just took my son over the weekend to see a monster truck show. And that really draws in the crowds, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just think about going to the shows. They're usually at big arenas, and there's a ton of people there. And now you actually got a chance to ride in one of them.
Yeah,
and
that's
a pretty fun ride.
That's pretty cool to be able to ride in a monster truck. And I want to encourage all of our listeners to definitely check out the Uncle Sam Jam. And Joe, can you tell us when is the Uncle Sam Jam taking place this year?
It's going to be July 7 through 10. And our first night is family night, where all the carnival all-day ride passes are 50% off on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
And we will have the music. We have former Red Wing great Darren McCarty's band playing on Thursday night. Their band's called Grinder. And then Darren's also going to do a meet and greet afterwards. So if you're a huge Red Wing fan or Darren McCarty fan, you should definitely come to that show. That's on Thursday, July 7th. And of course, we're going to have the petting zoo and monster trucks go all weekend. So it kicks off on July 7th. July 8th, we have fireworks that are put on by the Woodhaven Downtown Development Authority. And it goes all the way till Sunday, July 10th. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool. My son's only 5 years old, and he never actually saw the grind line in action in Darren McCarty, but he is a huge Darren McCarty fan because I always tell him about how great the Red Wings were and how great they will be, pretty soon here, because I know they're getting better. But Darren McCarty is just an awesome guy and a big supporter of the community. So we're excited to have him coming to the Uncle Sam Jam in July and visiting the Downriver region. So, Joe, where could we go to find out more information about the festival and perhaps, maybe even buy some tickets in advance, if that's possible?
Well, the website is unclesamjamfest.com, and that has all the information that you would need, hours of the event and what time the bands go on and all that stuff. Now, I do want to stress that all the concerts are free. You don't have to pay to see them. We do have a VIP area, which has guaranteed upfront seating has private bars, private restrooms, and there is a cost for that. But you don't have to pay to see the band. So they are free concerts, and you can buy the tickets, the VIP tickets, on our website as well.
Very cool. Did you say that there were fireworks as well?
Fireworks is going to be on Friday, July 8th.
Mm-hmm. What kind of food will you guys have this year? Any idea?
Tons of food trucks. I mean, you got, of course, your regular carnival food, and then we are going to have a couple of really good barbecue vendors that just make incredible, barbecue chicken briskets, that kind of thing. It's really
awesome,
really fun.
Yeah, you're singing the tune of a lot of people downriver. That's for sure, Joe. Hey, last question for you. Not a trick question, but more of a professional study here. And I believe you're from Marysville, correct?
I am, correctly. I'm not originally from Marysville, but I currently live here, yes.
Okay, good. So this is good to get your professional experience as someone who's not from the Downriver area, but who's very involved in Downriver and plays a critical role, especially with the Uncle Sam Jam, one of our largest festivals downriver. But if you could attend one event or festival in Downriver other than the Uncle Sam Jam, which one might that be?
You know what? I would have to say the Wyandotte Art Fair. That's been around forever, and it has a phenomenal reputation. I've been to it a few times, and I would have to put that up there as next to Uncle Sam Jam, of course, the coolest event downriver.
Awesome. Good answer, Joe. The city of Wyandotte and downtown Wyandotte always put on a good show, and I'm looking forward to this year's event as well. So, hey, Joe Nieporte with Fun Fest Events. It's such an honor to be with you, sir, and appreciate your membership of the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, of course, but we really appreciate you being on the Destination Downriver podcast today and sharing more information about the big event coming in Woodhaven this year in July, the Uncle Sam Jam. So, hey, thanks, Joe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, my pleasure. Take care. Thank you.
As I said at the beginning of this episode, Downriver has always been a region where festivals and events flourish. And we've had some amazing panelists on the podcast today, Mayor Pat Odette with the City of Woodhaven, and Erin Dobbins, who's the Executive Director of the Taylor Botanical Gardens and Conservatory, a 501c3 nonprofit organization in Taylor. They do a phenomenal job. So thanks, Erin and Mayor Odette. And of course, Joe Nieporte, who does a phenomenal job with the Uncle Sam Jam and so many other events with Fun Fest festivals. So thanks, Joe, for joining us as well. Now that they're on the rebound events, that is, from the pandemic years, it's time to sample some of the many great events in the Downriver area. You can find more details and dates on all of the upcoming events and festivals by visiting these two great online resources, and that is Discover Downriver and, of course, Macaroni Kid Downriver. Thank you again to our sponsor, Allegra, and Greg Kowalski, my friend and a great chamber member, where your marketing success can start happening today. And also a special thanks to our production partners here at the beautiful state-of-the-art Taylor Media Center. And I want to recognize our presenting sponsor, our good friend Kathy Kane at Market Insights, and of course our producer, Mr. Rich Williams, who does a phenomenal job. Thanks again for listening to our amazing listeners and of course the viewers now with our podcast. Thank you to our esteemed panel members, of course, and visit Destination Downriver online at www.destinationdownriver.com. In our Facebook page, you can search Destination Downriver and find out more about next month's podcast, where we're going to discuss golf in Downriver, as we are, of course, Michigan's southeast golf coast. We've got some outstanding courses that, for many avid golfers in the southeast Michigan area, are just waiting to be discovered and experienced. Again, my name is Ron Hinrichs. I've been your host, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time on the Destination Downriver podcast.